Even if you think you know a lot about World War II, there's always more to discover. So much happened in such a short time that it's impossible for anyone to know everything. But we're going to try and show you some of the most astonishing discoveries about this war. The Silver Treasure Shipwreck. An incredible treasure trove was uncovered 3 miles beneath the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Ireland. Over 1,000 bars of silver were recovered from a shipwreck, recognized as the heaviest and deepest collection of precious metals ever retrieved from a sunken vessel. The total yield amounted to 1,230 silver bars, equating to approximately 1.4 million troy ounces of silver. This substantial cargo was aboard the SS Goop, a 412-foot steel-hulled cargo ship that met its fate in February 1941 during World War II. A German U-boat sank this commercial vessel while it was navigating near Galway, Ireland. At the time, the ship was part of the government's war risk insurance policy. Consequently, the government compensated the owners with an insurance payout of $325,000, the cargo's worth in 1941. Odyssey Marine Exploration was later contracted to locate the ship and would retain 20% of the hull's value upon recovery. When the ship was attacked, it was carrying a crew of 83 sailors along with 2 gunners. The British and Indian crew members attempted to abandon the ship as it came under fire from the Germans, but only 1 person survived the ordeal. Before we go on, like this video and subscribe to learn more about fascinating World War II discoveries. The Mega Submarine Discovery. Off the coast of the Hawaiian island of Oahu, a World War II-era Japanese submarine captured and intentionally destroyed by US forces was discovered resting in its underwater grave. This massive vessel, lost since 1946, was found at a depth of over 2,300 feet near the southwestern coast of Oahu. The submarine in question is the I-400, one of the Imperial Japanese Navy's Soryu-class submarines, which holds the distinction of being the largest submarine ever constructed before the introduction of nuclear-powered submarines. These gigantic vessels measured longer than a football field and were designed to serve as submarine aircraft carriers. The I-400 had the capability to carry up to 3 floatplane bombers below decks. It was engineered to surface rapidly, launch its aircraft, and then submerge again before enemy forces could detect it. This unique design underscores the innovative military strategies employed during the war and highlights the technological advancements of that era. The German 251 Halftrack. The StKFZ 251 Halftrack, developed by the Hanomag Company, was a German armoured personnel carrier extensively used during World War II. Many consider it to be the finest half-track vehicle of the conflict due to its superior design and manoeuvrability. On July 26, 1996, one of these half-tracks was uncovered in the Pala River near Verova. Although found damaged, it remained equipped with all its original gear. Historical records indicate that this vehicle was utilized by the headquarters of the 19th Panzer Division. Tragically, the StKFZ 251 fell through the ice while crossing the river and sank on January 17, 1945, during the German retreat. Today, the recovered half-track has been restored to operational status and proudly displays camouflage patterns, markings, and its original name, Rosie, as it was known during the war. This artifact stands as a testament to the engineering prowess of the era and the crucial role these vehicles played in the battles of World War II. The legacy of U-boat wrecks. During World War II, German U-boats posed a grave threat to Allied shipping, targeting merchant vessels carrying essential supplies. These submarines relied on intelligence to locate, track, and intercept their prey, sometimes operating in coordinated groups known as wolf packs, particularly in the perilous North Atlantic. In areas unsuitable for group tactics, a U-boat might hunt alone, pursuing its target for days and summoning reinforcements when possible. Armed with torpedoes and deck guns, U-boats launched attacks either from the surface or while submerged, adapting to the situation. Surface engagements allowed crews to assess damage before diving to evade counterattacks. Successes were reported to headquarters, measured in enemy tonnage sunk. On August 24, 2016, the wreck of U-576 was rediscovered after 72 years. The Atlantic Expedition team is now examining the site to determine the submarine's final fate. Did its crew perish trapped inside, or did some escape through open hatches as it sank? These haunting mysteries remain unanswered. The fascination of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Since their discovery in 1947, the Dead Sea Scrolls have intrigued both scholars and the public alike. This remarkable collection consists of thousands of written fragments unearthed near the Dead Sea, representing the remnants of larger manuscripts that have suffered damage over time from natural causes or human activity. Most of the scrolls are merely small scraps of text, but some well-preserved manuscripts remain nearly intact, with fewer than a dozen found in the Qumran caves. Researchers have compiled a total of 981 distinct manuscripts discovered across 11 caves from 1946 to 1956. These Qumran caves are situated in the eastern Judean desert in the West Bank, close to the ancient Jewish settlement of Qumran. Scholars have traditionally linked the scrolls to the Essenes, a Jewish sect known for their ascetic lifestyle. However, recent studies have sparked debates regarding this association, suggesting alternative authorship by priests from Jerusalem, known as Zadokites, or possibly other unidentified Jewish groups. The scrolls offer invaluable insights into the religious and cultural practices of ancient Jewish society and remain a focal point of ongoing research. Each fragment holds the potential to illuminate various aspects of history, religion, and culture, inviting further exploration and interpretation as scholars work to unlock their many secrets. The Panther tank discovery in Germany. Lawyers are currently in discussions regarding an elderly man who stored a World War II tank, an anti-aircraft gun, and a torpedo in his basement. The military assisted in removing these remarkable artifacts from his home in the northern town of Heikendorf back in 2015. Now, prosecutors and defense attorneys are negotiating possible penalties for the 84-year-old man, which could involve a suspended sentence and a hefty fine reaching up to $500,000. He must also find new homes for these significant military items. According to the defendant's attorney, a museum in the United States has expressed interest in acquiring the Panther tank. Many historians regard this tank as one of the most effective vehicles used by Germany during World War II. Reports from local media indicate that the lawyer has also mentioned that other collectors from Germany have reached out to the defendant regarding additional items such as assault rifles and pistols. Retrieving the Panther tank was no small feat. It required approximately 20 soldiers over 9 hours to extract the tank, which was missing its tracks, from the residential property and carefully load it onto a low loader for transport. Local authorities had been alerted to the contents of the cellar by officials in Berlin who had previously searched the property for stolen Nazi art. The legend of the Nazi gold train. During World War II, the Nazis systematically plundered occupied territories, robbing palaces, art galleries, and museums, while also stripping Jewish families of their possessions. This looting led to the regime amassing an immense fortune, with Nazi treasures hidden throughout Europe. Following the defeat of the Nazis, Allied forces stumbled upon caches of valuable items, including solid gold bars and priceless art pieces. US troops uncovered these treasures in various locations, including the homes of Nazi officials and on trains in Austria. In 1944, American soldiers discovered thousands of boxes filled with gold and silver objects, jewels, cash, and artwork stolen from Hungarian Jews. As rumors of Nazi treasures began to circulate, the picturesque Polish town of Wałbrzych became the center of attention. According to local legend, a group of German laborers witnessed treasure being transported into tunnels within the nearby Owl Mountains. It is said that this legendary train carried around 300 tons of gold, silver, jewels, artwork, and other valuables, including pieces from the famous Amber Room. As the Red Army advanced, it is rumored that the Nazis loaded an armored train with these treasures, only for it to disappear into one of the tunnels beneath Książ Castle in northern Wałbrzych. Numerous investigations into these tunnels occurred after 1945, including efforts by the Polish army, but no evidence of a Nazi train laden with gold was ever found. The mystery of the Amber Room. While many in America connect amber with the dinosaur DNA showcased in the 1993 film Jurassic Park, the gemstone has enchanted Europeans, especially Russians, for centuries. This fascination largely stems from the exquisite Amber Room, constructed from several tons of amber and adorned with jewels. Originally a gift to Peter the Great in 1716, the room celebrated peace between Russia and Prussia. However, its history would soon turn tragic. During World War II, the Nazis plundered the amber room, and the amber panels, which had been carefully packed away in crates, disappeared during the war's final months. Although a replica was completed in 2003, the original amber room, often referred to as the eighth wonder of the world, has remained missing for decades. On June 22, 1941, Adolf Hitler initiated Operation Barbarossa, which unleashed 3 million German soldiers into the Soviet Union. As they invaded, countless art treasures were stolen, including the remarkable Amber Room, which the Nazis mistakenly believed had been created by Germans and intended for German royalty. The mystery of its whereabouts continues to capture the imagination of historians and treasure hunters alike. The ancient Roman bunker. The Alderney Nunnery is thought to be home to one of the best preserved Roman forts in the British Isles. This significant site was repurposed by German soldiers during their occupation of the Channel Islands in World War II. Recent excavations revealed that the fortress was strategically built within walls measuring 10 feet thick. Alderney has a rich history of habitation that dates back to the Neolithic period, with a burial chamber on the island tracing back to around 4000 BCE. The Roman tower located at the nunnery represents the island's earliest military structure, designed to safeguard a nearby Roman colony. During World War II, Alderney became notable for being the only British territory captured by the Nazis, who held it from 1940 to 1945. German forces converted the Roman fort into a strategic point known as Piratenschloss, Pirate Castle. After the majority of the islanders had been evacuated, the Germans established 2 forced labor camps and 2 concentration camps. By 1942, around 6,000 people had been drawn to the small island as Adolf Hitler aimed to fortify the Channel Islands and build an impregnable stronghold. Imprisoned workers were forced to construct various military defenses, including anti-tank bunkers, gun emplacements, air raid shelters, and tunnels. The Pigeon in the Chimney. After a perilous flight from Nazi-occupied territory, hundreds of miles away, a British spy pigeon returned home exhausted and seeking refuge. It landed on a chimney but tragically fell from its perch, likely overwhelmed by the fumes from the fire below. The brave bird died, leaving behind a key-coded message contained within a small capsule attached to its leg. The remains went unnoticed for nearly 70 years until the new homeowner began renovating the fireplace. Amongst twigs and debris, the owner discovered the unfortunate pigeon. Initially believing it was simply a racing bird, he soon spotted the red capsule. Curiosity piqued, he unscrewed it and found a handwritten note on a piece of thin cigarette paper. This message was delivered to codebreakers at Bletchley Park in Buckinghamshire, who played a crucial role in deciphering the Nazi Enigma code and shortening the war. Throughout World War II, approximately 250,000 pigeons were used, flying at impressive speeds to relay messages from behind enemy lines. Much like a precursor to the black box, these pigeons accompanied RAF bomber crews in case of emergencies. Experts believe that the red capsule found was typical of those used by the Special Operations Executive, whose operatives conducted sabotage missions such as demolishing railroads, bridges and factories in German-occupied areas. The Douglas SBD Dauntless Bomber, a World War II dive bomber, a Douglas SBD-5 Dauntless, is currently undergoing restoration at the National Naval Aviation Museum in Pensacola, Florida. This particular aircraft crashed 80 years ago, plummeting 100 feet to the depths of Lake Michigan. Thanks to sponsorship from the National World War II Museum in New Orleans and funding from an anonymous donor, this Dauntless will receive a complete restoration. This marks the 3rd Dauntless dive bomber that the museum has retrieved from Lake Michigan for this purpose. Officials anticipate that the restoration process will take several years to complete. The aircraft is heavily covered with zebra mussels and algae, and both the wings and propellers show significant twisting from the crash impact. The Douglas SBD Dauntless was renowned for its structural integrity, allowing pilots to dive at steep angles of nearly 80 degrees. As the US Navy's primary dive bomber at the onset of the war, the Dauntless played a vital role in securing victory during the 1942 Battle of Midway, where it was instrumental in sinking 4 Japanese ships. This restoration project not only preserves a piece of history, but also honors the brave pilots who flew these formidable aircraft in combat. The legend of Yamashitas Gold. During World War II, Tomoyuki Yamashita served as the commander of the Japanese 25th Army, responsible for the pivotal capture of Malaya and Singapore. This victory is often regarded as one of the most significant defeats for Western powers in the East. The term Yamashitas Gold, also known as the Yamashita Treasure, refers to the rumored war booty seized by Imperial Japanese troops throughout Southeast Asia during the conflict. It is believed that this treasure was hidden away in caves, tunnels, or underground facilities across various locations in the Philippines. According to the lore, General Yamashita and his troops buried substantial amounts of gold and other looted treasures in the northern parts of the country, with plans to retrieve it once the war concluded. However, after suffering defeats in both the Luzon and Leyte campaigns, he remained in hiding until Japan's surrender was officially declared from Tokyo in August 1945. Yamashita faced a war crimes trial and, despite denying any knowledge of the atrocities committed under his command, he was found guilty and ultimately executed by hanging. Over the last 50 years, treasure hunters from around the globe have been captivated by tales of hidden riches in the Philippines. Yet, most experts remain skeptical of the treasure's existence. The discovery of the sunken battleship. Musashi. The famous Japanese battleship Musashi, which sank during World War II, was discovered off the Philippines coast more than 7 decades later. Paul Allen, the billionaire and co-founder of Microsoft, led an expedition aboard his impressive 414-foot yacht in search of the Musashi, recognized as one of the largest battleships ever constructed. After a lengthy search, he finally located the shipwreck in the Sibuyan Sea. Allen had dedicated over 8 years to this mission, and its successful recovery is set to enhance our understanding of the events in the Pacific theater of World War II, while also bringing closure to the families of those who perished. The Musashi, alongside her sister ship the Yamato, was considered one of the heaviest and most powerful battleships ever built. Yet, neither vessel survived the war. On October 24, 1944, during the Battle of Leyte Gulf, American forces sank the massive 862-foot, 73,000-ton Musashi, resulting in the loss of nearly 1,000 crew members out of 2,399. The shipwreck's exact location remained a mystery for many years, despite various eyewitness accounts of its sinking. While Allen's team has not disclosed specific details about how or where they discovered the Musashi, they did announce that their search utilized historical documents from 4 different countries, advanced topographical data, and sophisticated technology aboard their vessel to locate the submerged battleship. The transformation of a Nazi eagle. In Uruguay, plans to melt down a bronze eagle discovered on a sunken German destroyer 13 years ago have been scrapped. The eagle, standing at 6.5 feet tall, once clutched a Nazi swastika in its talons and adorned the stern of the Admiral Graf Spee. This battleship played a significant role in one of the earliest naval confrontations of World War II. On December 17, 1939, after the Battle of the River Plate, Hans Langsdorff, the Graf Spee's captain, chose to scuttle the ship, which was among the largest vessels in the Third Reich. The bronze sculpture was uncovered in 2006, following a decade-long search in the River Plate off the coast of Montevideo. In 2019, a court ruled that the sculpture should be sold, dividing the proceeds evenly between the government and the salvage team. In 2004, a prior agreement between the salvagers and the Uruguayan Navy established a 50-50 revenue split. Afterward, the treasure hunters filed a lawsuit claiming that the government had violated their agreement. Ultimately, the Uruguayan Supreme Court declared that the eagle was government property. Following this ruling, President Luis Lacalle Pou initially proposed melting down the eagle and recasting it into a symbol of peace, a dove. However, this plan faced significant criticism, and the government ultimately decided to maintain the eagle's original appearance, including the swastika, as a historical artifact. This decision reflects a shift in perspective, recognizing the importance of preserving historical artifacts, even those associated with dark periods in history, for educational and memorial purposes. The Eagle will now be displayed in a secure location, serving as a poignant reminder of the horrors of World War II. The abandoned toxic base in Greenland. Known to the local Inuit population as American flowers, these are not blooms, but rather ancient, rusty gasoline containers that leak toxic substances throughout the otherwise pristine landscapes of Greenland. These containers are remnants from a former Air Force post established during World War II. Photographer Ken Bauer has initiated a project called American Flowers, focusing on this base, which includes decaying cars, corroding barrels, and crumbling buildings laden with asbestos. This documentary photography project aims to highlight the environmental destruction left in the wake of military activity and to persuade the US government to return and conduct a cleanup of the site, which was abandoned in 1947. At the height of the Cold War, the United States maintained around 50 military bases in Greenland. Many of these installations were left to rust, posing a threat to the fragile ecosystem. One such base, known as Camp Century, was even built beneath the ice, but was eventually abandoned. As climate change continues to melt the ice, there are increasing concerns that dangerous pollutants and radioactive coolants, originally intended to remain buried indefinitely, will soon be exposed. The Enigma Machine. The Enigma Machine was a notable encryption device employed by the Germans to send coded communications during World War II. This machine had the capability to encode messages in billions of different configurations, making it incredibly challenging for other nations to decipher German codes. Throughout the conflict, for a significant period, the code seemed virtually unbreakable. However, Alan Turing and other cryptographers identified several weaknesses in the Enigma's code implementation and accessed German codebooks, which allowed them to develop the bomb machine. This machine played a crucial role in cracking some of the most challenging versions of the Enigma. Historians argue that breaking the Enigma code represented one of the Allies' most vital victories during World War II. The intelligence gained from decoding German communications enabled the Allies to thwart numerous enemy attacks. To maintain secrecy and avoid Nazi suspicions of intercepted communications, the Allies sometimes permitted certain attacks to occur even when they had the means to prevent them. The discovery of a lost attack plane. The wreckage of a Soviet aircraft that disappeared during a World War II bombing mission was recovered from the Black Sea 75 years after its last flight. This PE-2 plane, produced by the Soviet Union, took off from southern Russia with the intent of attacking Nazi Germany, but vanished without a trace. In 2019, researchers discovered the plane's wreckage while conducting seabed studies off the coast of the Black Sea in Russia. Following this discovery, the Russian Navy's research vessel Ypron was deployed to clear debris from the crash site. On February 4th, the PE-2 aircraft was successfully lifted from the seabed, approximately 80 kilometers from the Krasnodar coast. The iconic Red Star emblem on the aircraft remained intact, igniting significant excitement in Russia about the find. Experts conducted a thorough investigation of the aircraft, after which it was placed on display in a Russian war museum, showcasing the history and legacy of Soviet aviation during the conflict. The discovery of this long-lost plane serves as a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made during the war and the enduring interest in military history. In a similar incident, a Nazi plane found crashed in the Amazon rainforest, remarkably well preserved. This astonishing find offers a chilling glimpse into the reality of wartime aviation, showcasing what these planes would have looked like at their peak. The plane's intact state provides an unparalleled opportunity to study its design and imagine the stories it holds from one of history's most tumultuous periods. For war buffs, this is nothing short of extraordinary, a tangible piece of history frozen in time. What do you think of this remarkable discovery? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The USS Independence and Operation Magic Carpet. The USS Independence played a vital role in Operation Magic Carpet, helping to bring veterans home after the war in the Pacific. This aircraft carrier earned 8 battle honors during her service and was instrumental in the sinking of the Japanese battleship Musashi at the Battle of the Philippines. Following her decommissioning in August 1946, Independence was repurposed as a target vessel for atomic bomb testing at Bikini Atoll in the Marshall Islands. On July 1st and July 25th, 1946, the carrier was positioned just half a mile from ground zero during the tests. Despite enduring substantial damage from the shockwaves, heat and radiation of the blasts, the Independence remarkably remained afloat. The U.S. Navy towed the damaged vessel back to San Francisco for cleanup and assessment. In 1951, the USS Independence was deliberately sunk off the coast of San Francisco, and her whereabouts remained unknown for decades. However, in 2016, scientists from Nautilus Live used remotely operated vehicles to explore the remnants of the ship. Even after being submerged 2,600 feet deep for 73 years, the vessel was found to be surprisingly intact, with at least one aircraft and anti-aircraft weapons still on deck, highlighting the enduring legacy of this historic carrier. Abandoned military bases in Greenland. During World War II, American commanders made the decision to establish military bases throughout Greenland. Today, however, only one of these bases remains in operation, while the others have been left to decay. Among these abandoned sites is a Vero Tractor, a type of half-track vehicle used by German forces from 1943 to 1945. The unarmored versions of this vehicle served primarily as supply transports and artillery tractors, facilitating logistics on the battlefield. On the other hand, the armored variants were equipped with anti-aircraft weapons or even a 10-barrel rocket launcher, making them versatile in combat scenarios. Unfortunately, fewer than 1,000 of these vehicles were produced before the war concluded. After the conflict ended, an improved model was manufactured at the Tatra company in Czechoslovakia. The abandoned sites of these military bases serve as a haunting reminder of the past, with remnants like the Vero Tractor now standing as silent witnesses to a tumultuous chapter in history. The Ghost Army's deception. Equipped with artillery that couldn't fire and tanks that couldn't move, the Ghost Army was a unique unit of 1,100 American artists, designers, and sound engineers. This top-secret group played a crucial role in World War II by staging elaborate deceptions that misled Nazi forces regarding the size and location of Allied troops. Formerly known as the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops and 33rd Signal Company Special, the Ghost Army is credited with saving countless American lives and received one of the nation's highest civilian honors for their efforts. The Ghost Army could create the illusion of a military force up to 30 times its actual size, often operating just a few miles from enemy lines. Freddie Fox, a member of this innovative unit, likened their operations to a traveling roadshow that impersonated real combat units. From D-Day through the Battle of the Bulge, the Ghost Army executed more than 20 missions across Europe between 1944 and 1945. Inspired by the success of British deception tactics in North Africa earlier in the war, the US Army established the Ghost Army in January 1944 to conduct visual, acoustic, and radio deception just in time for the D-Day landings. The Ghost Army utilized gasoline-powered compressors to inflate rubber models of tanks, jeeps, and aircraft, painting them with realistic details to deceive enemy reconnaissance. To further enhance their ruse, radio operators transmitted misleading communications while sound engineers blasted recorded sounds of military operations that could be heard from miles away. This blend of creativity and illusion played a vital role in saving lives during the war, highlighting the profound impact of performance and art in times of conflict. Do you think we'll ever see another war like World War II again? Let us know in the comments below.